Good morning, garden friends. I know it has been a while since I have done a front or back garden tour. As you know, we have been working on the back romantic courtyard. So it's taken up a lot of, my time. But we have been also doing some things in the front yard. So I want to be able to show you guys what is blooming in the front yard. A couple of my daffodils, like the early spring, have bloomed, but because of how I staggered them, I still got gorgeous blooms that I want to be able to share with you. I noticed a couple of things that it looks like it did not survive, the cooler temperatures that we ended up having. But, I'm going to let them hang out there for a little bit longer to see if it bounces back. So let me turn the camera around and show you how the front garden looks for this early spring. Okay, so I'm gonna start in the garden area that is off of the secret garden. I got some things that I'm gonna have to be doing in the secret garden, and that'll be another video. But look at my pansies are doing well. Those in the back, I believe, are my alliums that I put in and got from Color Blend that are coming up. And these are ones that are later in the season. My bachelor buttons are doing well. I so love these guys because of, how thriving they are. Let me show you guys these. And I just love those purple flowers on there. And then my Sunshine Ligustrums. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, we had replanted these because they were not doing well. And they have grown tremendously. And then, guys, look at this. As you see, I'm trying to keep things labeled. These are my Salvia Mirage Violets. Aren't those gorgeous? Look at those flowers. And then how it's complemented by the yellow on the Sunshine Ligustrums. The alliums are purple, and then these daffodils, there should be some more coming up in here, are white. And then I have another salvia, so I have 3 of them in this bed. And then over here is my verbene, the perennial. It doesn't have any flowers on it like my other one does, but I'm gonna get some of this dead stuff off, because like I said, we had that cold front and did a little damage to the leaves, but I'm not too concerned about it. But this bed is looking very lush and healthy. All right, so let's go to the center bed. Look at that, the purples and the different shades of purple and pinks. So what I have in here, I actually did plant the earlier in the season, and these guys were my little TTs, daffodils, and those guys have bloomed. That's a new flower. That is my blue thistle that I have here, and then I have black-eyed Susies, Veronicas, and let me see what this is. Oh, rats. I forget what this is. I'll have to look it up in my journal. I got some salvia on both sides. Those are my ornamental alliums. Veronicas, black-eyed Susies, and then you can see them poking up a little bit right there. Those are irises that I planted from the bulbs. Got some more here. Another one of those plants over here. Got my daylilies. And then guys, look at my Bloodgood Maple. Isn't that just so striking? It is not funny. Well, I see a couple weeds in here I need to get. But yeah, I got another blue thistle over here. And this here is, it's a phlox that I ended up getting. And it already has the little buds on it. And I think these guys are white. Let me get these weeds out of here. You know, I'll say this, doing the sheet mulching over here truly keeps the amount of weeds out, because we do have Bermuda grass. And look at that phlox with the pansies. And then those are more of the daylilies, another ornamental, and then this is a woodland phlox that I have on both sides. But doesn't this oh man, and this is my wildflowers. Look how nice that looks. This one over here, I don't know if it's going to survive, but I do see a little greenery on there. So I'm gonna let it hang out there and see how it does and see if it bounces back. If not, I'll end up digging it up and seeing if I can go ahead and nurse it back to health on here. But yeah, this Japanese maple is just breathtaking. And guys, this was a little guy. We planted him here last year. And it's probably now a good 5 feet. And then I love how it contrasts against our house and then pulls in the color from our front door. Okay, so let's go over here to the front bed where my roses, hydrangeas are. All right, this is my white lie rose that I so love. Look at all those buds on there. Just absolutely beautiful. I have some more of the ornamental grass, the black-eyed Susies. That over there is a ground cover. Okay, so I got 3 of them because the thought process was, as it grows and hopefully connects, I have another one here, and then I have one down here that didn't seem to do as well as those others. And then I got some alliums popping up, and then look at these daffodils. Are they not gorgeous? I so love the tricolor of these, and they're a nice size. And then my hydrangeas, my bobos, got my 2 bobos, and then also my limelight that is doing well. Another ornamental onion I have along here, some salvia right here. This is asters that are growing, and they get about maybe about that tall in here. And then my Johnny Walker, that's doing really well. Look at those, aren't those beautiful? And I'm so glad that they ended up blooming later on. And another Johnny Walker. Now Kevin had to weed whack down the grass because I like to have a fresh spurt that comes through. But yeah, this bed is looking really good, and I cannot wait until everybody ends up leafing out. Now, the one thing that we're doing, and I'll show you more down by the front bed. We initially have the metal lining up the beds, but to have that more elegant look to the garden, what we're doing is we're lining up the beds with the brick to mimic what's in the front, and we'll also be doing that center bed. But look how nice the violas look. Look at how my crepe myrtle has buds on it. The daffodils that I have in here, autumn joycetum. Oh, it looks like my gladys are coming up back there. My penstemon is doing well. That back there is a straw flower. And the far back corner is my kiss me over the gate. And then guys, look at this. This is probably 3 years ago that I planted tulips. And because they are not, and I don't freeze them or cool them or chill them, but I got these little stragglies, and like I had said before, if they ended up blooming, I didn't care. And then my daffodils. Look how cute those are. And I think how the purple blends in with the yellow of them. And then on the outskirts, I have more daffodils. This here is a blue spruce, for a ground cover. And then this is, like I said, I'm in the process of getting everything labeled. I'll put the name of it up on the video. But the ideal is for this to all blend in nicely. Good morning, thank you. Along here. And as you guys know, I mimic on both sides of the garden. And it just looks so nice. I'm just really happy. Oh, look at that grass. Like I said, I got to get out here. It's not too bad, but get out here and get any of this stuff pulled out. That's why I said this Bermuda grass is just endless. So, and then like I said, mimicked on the opposite side of our garden. But yeah, this is what we're doing with the bricks. I think it ends up having it look so nice. And like I said, the metal worked for us, but because our yard's on a slope, end up having it getting into the grass, and just felt that the bricks would set it off nicely. And my gladys are coming up in here. Like I said, I mimicked what is in the other garden bed. And then this too, crepe myrtle is doing well. Now, let's look at the center bed. See, doesn't that look so nice with the bricks around it? Tons of daffodils that I had in here that have already bloomed. Irises. This here is the new plant, which is the sage. And you can see it has buds on it. That is my, Atlas rose. More penstemon in here. My coral bark maple. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? And this was a little guy too. So I'm definitely putting them in the right spot. More daylilies on both sides. I have the Atlas rose, some lavender in here, along with my pansies and those blades of grass that I will get out here. and get cleaned up. But yeah, this bed looks really nice. Now, one of the things that I am going to do is all of the daffodils that the flowers are spent, I'm just going to clip those off. I'm going to leave the greenery on there. Kevin has to finish this section because we have to, or he has to cut the bricks to fit in there. Okay, now look at my verbena. Isn't that gorgeous? And also with my Garo. And I got some Shasta daisies in here, and then also some chrysanthemums that look so nice. And then look at my hyacinths. Aren't those gorgeous? Don't mind our garbage can. My Helen Bonstein seems to like this area, not getting mushy. Also had some TTs coming up in between there. And my rose, oh, look here. I already have blooms on here, looking nice and healthy. I so love that about my roses. Just nice and healthy. This just looks so beautiful. And then my Bobo is doing good. That actually was a straggle rose. I had dug them up to pull them out from underneath the eave here. And I apparently didn't get it all, so I left it. I also have some alliums in here that are coming up. Daffodils that are still blooming. Look at this. Oh my God. It's just so gorgeous. No aphids. That's my main thing. No aphids on my roses. Another straggly rose. You know, I love roses. You know, I'll never get rid of those. And then my lavender that I have over here. Now, and then I got some weeds, and then another straggly rose. But you know what? And oh, and my daylily right here. Oh, this looks really good. And the one thing that I'm going to be doing is for this area, I'm going to be running a drip system, because the one thing that I did notice last year, and you know, I'm quite sure everybody experienced it with the extremely hot weather that we had, my Bobos struggled, and those guys are usually very resilient. Okay, and then down here, these I thought were annuals, but the verbena, but they survived. I have some, oh, I think those are black-eyed Susies there, but I'm thinking about moving those out of there. My gladdies are coming up. My white gilies are blooming nice. My artemides is blooming nice. The grass is coming up. We're changing the lighting in here. So this is looking really, really good. And then over here, I have my Sunshine Ligustrum. And I also had some daffodils in here that some have bloomed and some are just opening up. And I have my lavender. And then this is the thing, guys. You know, I sit here and I look at these two, how they're doing. This guy has lost all his leaves and I was panicking. But I remember last year someone had told me that is what Sunshine Ligustrums do, you know, lose their leaves. But there are tons of buds on here that's going to be bursting through. All right, guys, I'm hoping that you enjoyed seeing how my front garden is in bloom for early spring, and a lot of things are coming alive, you know. And when I sit here and I think of how I go about my gardening, as I stated, I am not an instant gratification gardener. I like buying things small and being able to see me work my magic when it comes to gardening. And not that there's anything wrong with anyone getting, you know, the large plants to just have that bam of color. I think this allows me to be able to showcase you the garden transformation. And see how things are, you know, coming together. And then also it lets me know whether or not, you know, I have the correct, you know, distance between everything. Because I really don't like, you know, things touching. I like to at least see a little bit of the ground. But, you know, that's just my style of gardening. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed, you know, seeing the beauty of our front garden beds. You know, as I stated, we're still working on getting the pavers all around the metal frames just to have that very cohesive, elegant look to our garden. Well, thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner. And if you guys enjoy my content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. Thanks again, and I look forward to you checking out my next video.